Hello and welcome to my short survey on getting to know students and technology in the classroom. So the content will be the student survey, then the teacher survey, and then a conclusion. The questionnaire consisted of around 7 questions designed to get to know the students and see what their home life was like and what their interests were. Even though I had these students for about 6 months, I was still a little surprised by some of the answers. The full questionnaire and answers is on my submissions page. So how many books did you read last summer? I gave the students a range of 1 to more than 6. Most of my students had read more than 6. One kid had read 3, but they were the 3 Harry Potter books, so they're quite chunky. Who do you live with at home? Most people was with mum and sister, a few lived with grandparents, and 2 didn't live with dad because dad works away, which I was quite surprised by. I didn't know that. I gave the kids the choice to write down their own answers rather than giving them suggestions. A few kids chose the same thing, and it was mostly a subject with maybe a sport. So I maybe should have made the answer questions easier by giving them options. How do you find answers? Well, only one kid said that he found the answers through books, which I was quite surprised by because all the answers to the homework are in their textbooks. What activities? It varied, but most were doing homework. I didn't count play, though a few wrote that. I was more interested in how busy they were to see if they had leisure time. I was actually fairly surprised at how few extracurricular they had. I wonder if that's COVID-based and they did more before, but now they don't want their kids to travel around the city and see different tutors. Which part of our English skills do you find the hardest? I was surprised that the largest section was reading, considering they said they'd read 6 English books last term. What's your favourite thing to do? Only 2 out of 5 put video games. The rest put things like cook food or even reading physics books, which I was quite surprised by because they talk about video games a lot. I was quite surprised by some of the answers, and I'll definitely be doing something like this at the beginning of next term. I'm tempted to get my whole class to do one now anyway, and I'll definitely use only multiple choice questions in the future with a box where students can elaborate if needed. The teacher survey. I wrote the teacher survey through SurveyMonkey and sent it to my colleagues. It focused on communication, lessons, and homework with 8 questions. I sent a question to one person from each grade so I could get a variety of answers. I work in elementary, so the ages actually only range from 6 to 12. What is the main use of technology in the classroom? As predicted, most people put PPT. Only a few people said they use songs, and no one said they use videos. You could select more than one option, so I was quite surprised by this, as I use videos at least once a week. How do you communicate with parents? I was fully expecting this to be WeChat. WeChat is used for everything in China. If I worked in a different country, I might expect a variety of responses. Surprised to say 40% of my peers don't communicate with the parents because that is part of our job. Do you have any students with special needs? I was quite surprised that most of them put yes. I wish in the survey I had allowed for time to put what the special needs was. Most people, even though they said they had students with disabilities, said they don't use extra technology. A couple of people said extra videos and audio. Again, I think this is because we don't really have the resources or the support to support people with disabilities, as this is totally new and emerging in China. How do you set homework? 100% said paper. So I'll come to that in my conclusion. Do you ever set students digital tasks such as internet links? Never. Like I said, 100% paper homework. How important to use technology in teaching? Very important, yeah. Somewhat important. No one said nothing at all. In conclusion, everybody seems to agree that technology in the classroom is useful. PowerPoint can save so much time by allowing teachers to have the core part of their lessons done and ready. Even printing is a part of the marvel of modern day technology. Using a smartboard is also very useful in presenting information and can speed up the time taken in the lesson, meaning more content can be taught. I would love to explore more the use of technologies for people with disabilities. I feel in China we don't have access or support in this area as it's so new. I was also quite surprised by the results of the survey that some people had students with recognized disabilities in the class. I should have asked for clarification on the disability in the survey, but I know the teachers and all said ADHD, which is becoming more recognized in China, which I still, again, found surprising. I think we underuse technology for homework. All of my students said they had access to the internet at home, and yet we don't even set something as simple as researching a topic. I think by grade 5 and 6, for sure, we should be doing this. Also, last week we talked about the future of technology and moving away from paper and brick and mortar, and yet 100% of my respondents only gave paper homework. Clearly, we still have some way to go. In the VC on Monday, we discussed how PowerPoint, smartboards, and videos can be a great resource. This was backed up by my respondents in the survey. I had no one mention interactive games, even though I used them in the classroom. I should have put this as an option in the survey, as I think at the time of answering, they hadn't considered that as a digital resource. I would really like to explore RazKids or another online resource suggested by Stephen in our group chat, and perhaps it's something I will suggest for next year to my principal. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something.